This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Kicking It with KeKe, life, love, and all that other shit. I am your host, Author KeKe Chanel, and I have a special guest with me today, a fellow podcaster, Erica with Dope Discussions. Hello, Erica. Thank you for kicking it with me today. How are you?
I'm doing good, KeKe. Thank you for inviting me. How are you doing?
Girl, listen, I'm here. We're gonna try to get through this. Y'all excuse me if I cough because I have a little situation going on, but it is what it is. We're gonna roll with it and get through it like the professionals that we are, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So I like to give my guests the opportunity to introduce themselves. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to you and you just tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Erica Warren, and I am a local resident of Hammond, Louisiana. I am the co-host of the Dope Discussions Live podcast with my boy Gator Live. We stream live every Sunday on YouTube. I'm in Louisiana, he's in Atlanta, Georgia, so we do it virtually every week. I also am a self-love coach for women. I also do that virtually. I help women get back to loving themselves after a breakup. And I work from home. I do customer service at home, and I'm a mother of four. I say grown men now. They're grown men, so I'm free to be me.
Yes, you wear a lot of hats. Yes, that's awesome, awesome, awesome. So today's topic, we're gonna just dive right in. Pursuing your purpose during a pandemic. Now I know for me that's a bittersweet because we all know 2020 hit us all hard. You know, I had a personal death that we experienced in the family. And then I
Wow.
decided to start my live show on Instagram on Monday nights. So it was
Okay.
almost like I lost something. I was looking for some way to comfort myself and to interact with other people. So I feel like I was pushed into part of my purpose during the pandemic
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Kicking It with KeKe started as a blog in 2017, and then during the pandemic in 2020 I did my first show in July. I've been rolling ever since. So when it comes
Yeah.
to pursuing your purpose during the pandemic, what is something that you faced when it came to fulfilling your purpose or pursuing your purpose within the pandemic?
Yeah. So right when the pandemic hit, I started thinking about, what if, my way to take care of my family and my stream of income was taken away from me. What would I do? What would I have to fall back on? And what is it that I can be doing in this idle time where we have to be in the house and we
Mm-hmm.
can't go and visit each other and go out, and do the things that we normally do? What can I be doing with that time? And that's when I started my life coaching business. Just went online like everybody else was doing, going online, taking a bunch of courses, learning about it, getting certifications, and then just going on social media and putting the word out there and building up a following and an interest in what I was doing. And so I think everybody was able to really sit down and focus and refocus on what is it that I really want to be doing in this life that I have not been doing when I had really had the opportunity and the time
Right.
to do it, but I was taking it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I have to sit myself in this house and really think and get in tune with myself, I think that's when a lot of people got inspired to go ahead and do those things that you had been putting off. And when you get into a crisis like a worldwide pandemic and everybody's panicking,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, well, this might be my chance to go ahead and do it. And so for me, that was that chance for me to go ahead and do something that I had been wanting to do, kind of afraid to do it, kind of feeling like I don't have everything I need in place, but now I don't really have an excuse because I got nothing but time.
Listen, I believe that God allowed his people, and I'm a woman of faith, to
Hmm.
tap into a different level of their purpose during the pandemic.
Hmm.
Because I know
Yes.
everybody had that same mindset. Like I've talked to other coaches and other people that's been on the podcast, and they all say the same thing. I had something that I wanted to do, but I kept putting it
Yeah.
off. So now that
Yep.
you're in the house and you don't have nothing but time, God is
Yeah.
like, okay, what you gonna do
Yeah. What's your excuse now?
now? Yes, exactly. So I love that because I started my business, my life coaching business in March, right when it got ready to hit. So it was like trying to
Wow.
get clients. I'm like, oh, what else can I
Yeah.
do? So yeah, we kind of like the same when it comes to starting a new business in the pandemic. And I've talked to people where some people say that they took a hit when the pandemic hit with their business. A lot of people said that they flourished during the pandemic.
Flourished. And some
Flourished.
people who didn't even have a business started a business during the
Yes.
pandemic and took off. And I
Yes.
think it opened up people's minds to be more creative, think of different ways to reach people. And that's why I started to do the life coaching like virtually,
hmm
Zoom calls and stuff like that, because of the pandemic, you can't go sit in face to face with each other. So
Yes.
what's another way that you could connect with each other and still give them that personal touch?
Absolutely. Because baby, I used to meet with my clients at PJ's, and that was our spot. And so now
Exactly.
you just like get your coffee, get your tea, get your stuff, and we gonna do it virtually and have a good time.
Yep.
But that brings me to a point that I wanted to talk a little bit about letting go of your fear, like facing your fear. I do believe that the pandemic was a blessing in disguise because it helped a lot
Mhm.
of people overcome their fear, get out of their comfort zones. Can you talk about that as a life coach, as a podcaster, as as a mom? How do you help other people and yourself as well as your kids stay in a positive mind frame to say, you know what, I know you're afraid, but do it anyway.
Yeah. And that was something that I had been working on even before the pandemic. Like actually being on this podcast with you and actually having my own podcast was something that I never saw myself doing because I've always been a real shy, real quiet person. I only talk when it's really necessary. And if I don't feel like I need to talk, I'll be quiet and stay off in the corner and just listen to everybody else. So
Me
just
too.
being doing this is a real big step for me. And so I was working on that before the pandemic hit, but I just made sure that now that I can't get in front of people face to face, I got to go even harder with getting on social media, putting my face out there, putting my voice out there, talking about things. And, because I still struggle now. I do not like the sound of my own voice.
Me either, girl. I sound so country. Like I'm like, I have friends who tell me, "Oh, you're so country," but I have to embrace that. I have to realize, this is who I am. Take
That's
it
your
or leave
unique
it.
voice.
Yes,
Nobody else can copy it. It makes you who
yes.
you are.
And I'm glad that you say that because it helps me with my anxiety of thinking like that. Because you said that you have the same thing, but and look at us
Hmm.
like podcasting. We don't like our
Podcasting,
voice, but we
talking for a living. Exactly.
can.
And I do truly believe that your biggest insecurity, the thing that you fear the most, is the thing that God wants to use in you. And that's what we fear the most. The thing that's really going to bring us some greatness
Goosebumps.
and really going to make a big impact.
Hmm
That's the thing that the enemy tries to use against you because he know if your voice is powerful, if I can trick her into believing that people are going to talk about her voice, people are going to make fun of her voice, nobody's going to take her seriously, then he can rob you of that gift that God is really trying to push you to use.
Listen, you over here prophesying or whatever, because that's one of my next books. Is called Finding My Voice, because I'm doing a set of memoirs. The first memoir is called Finding the Sun: A Journey to Self-Love. And I talk about
Yeah.
how I didn't love myself. The next one is
Yeah.
Finding My Voice, because I would always turn a blind eye when I should have said something, and I
Yep.
just let people get away with a whole bunch of stuff and tore me down.
Ooh.
So that made me look at myself. It's like I wasn't worthy enough. You don't have
Yeah.
nothing to say. What they not gonna listen to what you say. What you have to say is not
Yes.
relevant. And so subconsciously we hold on to that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that as you grow, you're supposed to, mature, and your mindset changes and all this kind of good stuff. And I'm glad that I'm strong in my mind, so I let that go. And I'm now in a
Oh,
place where I'm deliberate from people. I do what makes me happy.
oh,
Yeah, I do what makes me happy. And if I'm sitting in front of this camera talking to whoever I'm talking to, you included, or I'm by myself, because sometimes I record by myself. So it's like I'm talking to a whole bunch of people. We're in actuality, we're putting ourselves out there on YouTube or
yeah,
whatever. We are talking to people. And we have to make sure
yes.
that we are comfortable enough in the things that we saying so that they can receive that from
Mm-hmm.
us. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about facing your fears, and I'm a believer that it's okay to be scared, but don't let
Do it
fear,
afraid.
yes, don't let fear
Do.
cripple you into not doing it. Yeah.
And most of the times, the fear is a liar because once you actually go through the fear and get to the other side, you realize what I was scared of was so crazy. It never, and they say fear is being afraid of something that may never ever happen, but you just in your mind, you think
Hmm.
it could happen. So you just stop yourself from doing it. And I wanted to impart that into my children because I lived so many years of my life in fear of rejection, in fear of what other people would say about me. And I tell them that you don't live in that fear that I used to live in. You in a world now where you have so much more access to things
Hmm.
that I did,
Hmm.
knowledge, connections. Just get out there and explore the world. I wish I would have explored the world more. I would have learned
Hmm.
more about myself at an earlier age. And
Right.
so I want them to live without fear, see what's out there in the world because it's not just in this one little area that you become comfortable with.
Absolutely. And I think we're from the generation where it just wasn't talked about. Certain things wasn't talked about. Like mental health wasn't talked about. Saving account wasn't talked about.
Mhm.
You just
Yeah.
you either go to school, you get your degree, or you got to get a job and you got to get out and pay bills.
Yeah.
It ain't talked about, what happens after you finish getting this college degree, or what happens once you get these checks, and then where you gonna put the money in, like banking accounts, check, like all of that
Right.
stuff was not talked about. Student loans, don't get them unless you need them. Like nobody talked about that. Like
Oh God. And student loans and credit cards. They were throwing credit cards at me in college. I was like, ain't got no job to pay it, but it's free money.
right, how many can I have? And we maxing them
Crazy.
out, not paying any balances, but here we go. But yeah, so I love that, and
Yes.
it's it brings us to like getting out of your own way. You have to be able to get out of your own way, and we are our worst critics. I know that I am. I can do
Who?
negative self-talk and I preach positive self-talk, but we're human. It happens.
Yep.
So
Yep.
when what is something that you do, or what's something that you would tell our listeners today that they can do to get out of their own way, something to help get out of your own way?
Who? One of the biggest tips is to really get to know yourself. Self awareness is the key to everything because once you become aware of the thoughts that you have, and you have a goal, and you have something that you want to achieve, but you have something, a voice in your mind is telling you that you don't have this, or you don't have this, or that people will not receive it. You got
Mm-hmm.
to really pinpoint what that is that's holding you back, and then write down a list of things that counteract that thought that you're having,
Mm-hmm.
because you're always going to have something in your past that's going to show you that you can do something, that you have done something, that you have. But what we do a lot of times, we might achieve something and then we quickly move on to the next thing. We don't
Mm-hmm.
even celebrate what we have achieved, and we
Yes.
downplay the things that we have achieved. If you look back at some of the things you've gone through and say, I did okay in this situation. I thought I wasn't going to be able to make it through that, but I made it through that. So why am I afraid of this next thing? And then, if you, like you said, if you believe in God and a higher power, He is there with you. You don't have to see every step that you need to take next, but you just have to
Right.
take the step and believe that he going to provide what you need when you take that next step. So many things that we do, we want to have a guarantee of an
Yes.
outcome.
Yes.
There is no guarantee, but there is a guarantee that if you don't do it, it will never happen. Now you
Never.
are guaranteed for that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because you don't know what you're good at until you try it. And then if you're not good at one
Hmm.
area, that just prompts you to go and discover something else that you may have, your I'm a believer that
Hmm.
your passions is aligned to your purpose in some way. I believe
Yes.
that wholeheartedly. Um and sometimes we just have to roll with the punches. Like life is not going to be
Hmm.
all sunshine and rainbows. Adversity will come. They will have curveballs and obstacles and detours and
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. And I'm one of those people that I don't ever see the glass half empty or half
Hmm.
empty. Because even though you don't see the air, it's there. So I'm a half,
Yeah.
it's always full for me. And I
Yes.
don't like the saying that people use, stay in your own lane. I don't like that because when you're staying in your own
Me
lane,
either.
you develop tunnel vision. So you
Hmm.
miss out on the things that you can, get pushed into or discover along what. So if you have to detour or go around or change lanes, it's okay. You finding different ways to get to your destination. So the next time somebody tell y'all to stay in your own lane, tell them no. I'm gonna make a detour. I'm going around. You don't have to. No,
Thank you.
we're not going through 2022 with tunnel vision. No, and
That's the
you know,
limit that people put on us, but God doesn't put those limits on us. That's limits from people. Once you elevate above the mindsets and the limitations of other people, then that kind of stuff don't even bother you because God gives us more than just one gift. He instills a lot of different gifts in us. It's within us to go into and look deep inside and cultivate those different gifts. So just because you're good at baking cakes, don't let people tell you that's the only thing you can do. You
right.
good at baking cakes, stick to that. Now
Mm-hmm.
you over here trying to make clothes, and you not even you trying to do too many things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm good at baking cakes, and I might be good at making clothes.
Right.
Okay, I'm not gonna let you stop me. So a lot of times
Absolutely.
other
Mm-hmm.
people, we take their opinions too heavily above God.
Absolutely. And our gifts will make room for us. That's the word. Your
Hmm.
gifts will make
Hmm.
room for you. And listen, people that always got something negative to say about you doing something different, those are people that sat on their ass and didn't take the initiative
And ain't
to
doing
do
not
anything.
nothing.
Yes. Why
They're
is that?
not
Why
doing,
is
they're
that?
not even doing the first thing. You might be on the third thing and they haven't even started the first thing and they trying to tell you because we get comfortable. We want people to stay at our level. So if I'm at this level and I see you going to a higher level, that makes me uncomfortable. So I need you to get back down here with me.
I'm gonna bring you down lower than me because I'm gonna tear you down.
That
It's
too.
it's that crabs in the barrel mentality. Like I don't want you to. I
Yes.
can't. Ain't none of us gonna get it. But it's enough to
Hmm.
go around. It's enough for everybody. And you're a life coach. I'm a life coach. We don't specialize in the same thing. You offer a certain thing. I offer a certain thing. That doesn't mean that we're in competition of each other. I'm cheering for you. You cheer for me, and everybody
Yes.
wins. Everybody wins.
Everybody
And
wins.
I think that we all should have that type of mentality that everybody wins. If we did, we would be so far ahead as a people,
Right.
so far ahead
And
as a people.
how arrogant is it to believe for us to believe that I can do it all. I can service everybody. If I'm a life coach, everybody should come to me and nobody else should be in my arena. Nobody else should be able to do what I do. That's
Hmm.
crazy.
Hmm. It happens though. So many people have that mindset. Oh my God. If you go to somebody else, they stop liking your pictures on Facebook. It's like you could tell when somebody feels a certain way. social media has taught me that, and it's crazy because I really don't care. But if you watch and pay attention,
Yeah.
it will let you know that somebody feels a certain way about you because they stop liking your pictures. You know, they stop. If you
Hmm.
see them in public, they usually stand around and talk to you or whatever. And I know COVID, we really
Yeah.
ain't supposed to do that, but they barely speak to you and all this kind of stuff. So
Wow.
it is amazing how that dynamics exist in 2022.
And that's
2022.
the crazy thing. I made a post maybe last week when I talked about confidence. Most people think confidence is going into a room and saying that I'm better than everybody else. No, confidence is going in the room and saying I'm great and he's great and she's great. We're all great. When
Hmm.
you have real confidence in yourself, you don't try to take away from somebody else's because yours is yours and theirs is theirs. I
Right.
recognize greatness in you as
Hmm.
and you recognize greatness in me, and there's enough to go around.
Hmm.
I hate that competition thing. You have to have
Right.
a healthy balance of believing in yourself, but also some humility where I
Yes.
don't know it all and I
Hmm.
can still learn from other people. And I'm be quick when somebody comes to me for coaching and it's above me and I don't really know how to help them or service them. I'll
Hmm.
be quick to send them to somebody else who might be able to help them out
Hmm.
better, because I'm not going to sit there and pretend that
Right.
I can do it when I can't.
Right. And because you're wasting your time and their time.
Hmm.
But people would do that. Oh, I don't know what to do, but let me research it right quick. I'm gonna take your money and I'm learning as I
Fake
go.
it,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
faking it till they make it, and they're not
yes,
doing that person any justice.
exactly. Exactly. So when it comes to that, and we talked about a lot. And if for you guys who are tuning in, listening, you are listening to Kicking It with KeKe. I am your host, Author KeKe Chanel. I am joined with Erica Warren. She's a life coach as well as a fellow podcaster. We are talking about pursuing your purpose during a pandemic. And we just talked about letting go of your fears, like facing your fears, whatever may come. Just try it. Leap without worrying about a safety net. That way, if you fall, you'll know one way not to do it the next time. The point being
Exactly.
is to try, like face your fears, getting out of your own way, like stop talking yourself out of reaching your full potential. Rolling
Yeah.
with the punches. Sometimes we just gotta roll. Like if it starts raining and you walk into your car, what you gonna do? You gonna turn around and go
Yeah.
back to the store, or you gonna run to your car?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And staying in a good headspace. Like, what is
Yeah.
something that you do daily to keep yourself in a good headspace?
Shoot, during this pandemic, I've learned to. I get up every morning. I have a set routine. I open up all of my windows. I
Mm.
let the daylight in.
Hmm.
Um, I try to get outside and just breathe in some fresh air, either in my backyard or I might drive to the park and just take a walk.
Hmm.
I make sure I take my vitamins, my multivitamins every morning, to keep my immune system up. I get in there and fix me something for breakfast. I will either read a book, read something out of the Bible, do a little prayer. You know, I've even started, because of, I work from home, and then when I get off work, I'm still in the house.
Yeah.
Every now and then, I'll go through the house and I'll just rearrange my furniture to make it look like a whole new room,
I like that.
just to change the scenery. Um,
Yes.
I have during this pandemic just went for a weekend and got myself a hotel room just to have some different scenery.
Hmm.
You don't, even if you're afraid to travel, get on airplanes because of all of the pandemic and the virus and everything. Just do something. I get in my car and take me a long ride on the interstate. That
Hmm.
gives me a different change of scenery. It gives me time to think. I'm listening to the radio. I'm just, I'm an introverted person, so I'm always inundated with my own thoughts, and so I could be by myself and be having a good long conversation.
Look,
I don't
I'm
need
my own
nobody in
best
the.
friend. I am my own best friend.
Ooh,
You hear me? Ain't nothing like it.
yes, yes, and it's really helped me really to get to know myself. And what my purpose is in life and who am I supposed to be connected with in life, because I wasted a lot of years trying to figure myself out. And during that time, I would get into relationships that were bad for me because I was trying to find my identity in
Mm,
the eyes of other people.
right.
Yeah, so I would say, every day do something that encourages you, motivates you, keeps your mood balanced. Get out into the nature. If you like to read, definitely read a book. You know, um, Even if you like watching movies, your favorite TV show. Sometimes we have our favorite TV show from childhood that brings us those
Yes.
good memories. I'll
Mm-hmm.
always go back and watch The Golden Girls and Martin, and it just
Love
gives me
it.
a nice
Love
little pickup.
it. I watch the Golden
Yes,
Girls every night. Every
every
night.
day, girl, and I will I
Yes.
will sit there and laugh like I'd never seen it before.
Right. And rest in peace, Betty White. We lost her, and her birthday was on the
Yes,
17th. So yeah,
yes.
it's Lord, to live that long and to have that much love from everybody.
Everybody, nobody had a
That's
bad
n-
thing to say about
ever,
her.
ever. Not even
Mm.
people that work behind the scenes said how she would treat
Mhm.
them like they was on her level, that she was just the
Yes.
sweetest person. And that speaks a lot about, having that
Mhm.
longevity in the business and just having a fruitful life. Like, she had a great life. Now I'm pretty sure
Great
she probably
life.
endured a lot of, things with being a woman in a man's world, but she
Yeah,
never talked about that part. I've never heard
yeah.
anything about that where
Me
she
neither.
complained about anything or had any ill will towards somebody. But yeah, I just wanted to, put a little something out there for Betty White. Thank you for being a friend. How
Man,
about
and she
that?
was the last one left. I was holding on to her because all of the other ones passed away, and I was like, we still got Betty.
Yes. Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. But that's something that we all have to do. And uh she like Cicely Tyson. She lived a grand life. Them
Ooh.
people,
Yes.
Sidney Poitier, like all these people lived a
If
grand life.
I'm telling you, if I could just be that blessed to make it that long, and then everybody, really be appreciative of the life you lived, and then I can get to, just pass away in peace.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Surrounded by the people that you love and that love you, because she was at home with her family.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's the wish. That's like the
Yeah,
ultimate wish.
yeah,
But
yeah.
2020 taught me that it don't always happen like that. I mean,
Mm-mm.
you're here one minute, and the next minute we get in the call saying, "Hey, they're no longer
Yeah,
here." So it's like,
yeah.
what do you do?
Cherish them today.
Yes,
Cherish
you
them
have to.
today.
You have to go through each day as if tomorrow is not
That's it.
promised.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
anyone who is listening, who is putting off doing something that you are passionate about and that you love and that you want to pursue, I tell you to do it. Do it
Yeah.
afraid, as long as you do it, because it's not guaranteed that you're going to have another opportunity to do that. And start with what you have. Start right now. Like, when I
Hmm.
first started my podcast, I didn't have, the best of equipment. I didn't have a ring light. I didn't have a microphone and all
Hmm.
this kind of stuff. But guess what? I got myself in front of that camera with my phone, and I did it. So as you grow,
Yes.
those things will come. I just wanted to say that because we don't know who's listening, but somebody is out there who is really contemplating starting something new, and they just need a little push. Like, I'm a push
Yes.
you on
And
out
don't
there.
don't compare yourself to, even if you have somebody that you look up to and you aspire to be like them, don't compare your right now to where they are right now, because everything that you're going to be good at, you have to start out being bad at it first. That's
Hmm.
what some people don't want to go through the process of doing something and not being able to know how to actually do it right. They
Hmm.
want to go in and just naturally get it done, and they want it to look just like everybody else's look, and that's just not how that works. When I
Yeah.
first started doing my podcast, I was just doing it from my cell phone, and I
Hmm.
had some earbuds
Hmm.
recording through the cell phone. Start out simple, build up your confidence, and then graduate into doing more and more. Actually find somebody that you admire and see if they will mentor you and
Right.
show you all the steps that they've taken and where they started from and where they are now.
Mm-hmm.
Gradually move up. Don't think that it has to happen overnight, because nothing great, nothing that's sustainable is going to happen overnight.
Absolutely. Like most people have that microwave mentality. Yeah, it's good for certain things, but I mean, you could probably cook a turkey in a microwave, but it's gonna suck.
Ew,
You
it's
need
gonna be so
that.
nasty.
Yes, you need that oven cooking, that low slow roasting. Take your time and get it done right.
Yes.
Don't mess it up. And it's okay to take your time. Like a lot of people look at, certain people and say, "Hey, I want what they have," but you don't know what it took for them to get there.
Who?
Would you do it?
Some people make the struggle look good.
Yes. And crying
Sometimes you will
behind
pick
them
up
closed
somebody else's
doors.
struggle.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll pick up somebody else's struggle, and then you be like, you can have this back. I didn't know it was all of this.
Yes, yes. It's not Burger King. You can't have it your way.
Yeah.
No, no. So taking risk, reap the reward. What can you tell us about that when it comes to, pursuing your purpose during this pandemic?
Risk and reward. Shoot, if you the reward is going to be in proportion to what you're willing to risk.
Mm.
You take a small risk, small reward. You want a
Mm-hmm.
larger reward, you're probably going to have to risk more. And sometimes, I don't really think of risk, because when you have belief in yourself
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing the right thing, you're doing it with integrity, you're not stepping on anybody else to get something done, you're not causing harm to anybody else,
Mm-hmm.
then believing in yourself is not a risk. If you know what you're capable of, if you know what your God is capable of, it's not a risk. Just because it didn't turn out the way that you hoped it would, you still learn something from that experience so that you can carry that forward into trying it a different way. But
Right.
I don't really see it as a risk when you have actual belief in yourself, when you know that you're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you just have to get out there. Most of the time, the only risk that we believe that we're taking is looking like a failure.
Mm.
And when you remove that mindset of worrying about what it looks like to
Mm-hmm.
other people, and you'll go head first.
Right. Absolutely. I love that. And it's all about no, I really wouldn't call it risk. Like you say, if you're doing something that you love, you just following a process.
Mm-hmm.
You're going through a process,
Mm-hmm.
a cycle, to get
Yeah.
to the bigger picture, to better
Mm-hmm.
yourself today, today, so that you can be better, even better tomorrow. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I love that. I love what you said when it comes to that. Just do it and not really think about it. Don't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And celebrate those rewards. Celebrate the small things so that when God blesses you
Yeah.
with the bigger things,
Yeah.
he can trust you with it. Like I can trust
Yeah.
Erica with the big things because she celebrated when she found a little flower that was outside when she went on her walk one day.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Exactly.
small rewards are you have to celebrate those. You have to celebrate those small wins. And you talked about that a little bit earlier, to
Mm-hmm.
just make sure that you're rewarding you, like you feeding yourself. You're giving yourself
Yeah.
enough courage to keep going. Like, oh, I got through
Right.
this list of to-do lit things today. Dang,
Yeah.
let me go get myself, a cookie or something.
Yes. Yes.
We ain't saying go
Reward
out
yourself.
there and just be all
I
outlandish with
know.
stuff. Like, we ain't saying that. We just gotta put that out
Right.
there. But yeah, like small stuff, like you complete. Say for instance, you have a to-do list and it has 10 things on there, and you complete 8. You could get you a
Mhm.
cookie or a brownie or something, a Coke,
And
because
you're
that's my
more
guilty
likely to
pleasure.
keep going. Right.
Yes.
Oh, well, Mia, I'm a brownie. I love me a brownie. Don't put no brownies around me.
Listen, and
They
see,
gonna
I'm
get
like that with
A.
chocolate chip cookies. I'm like that with chocolate chip cookies. Like, I love my chocolate chip cookies. So Yeah,
Yes.
like cookies. That's one of my small like right now goals. When I complete
Mhm.
one of my right now goals, like a cookie would be my reward for the day or reward for the week. Because one of my best
Yeah.
friends and I, we decided to do goals for this year, like set goals for ourselves so that we can hold each other accountable and
Yeah.
stay on top of stuff. We put save a certain amount of money, take this
Yeah.
class to become a certain whatever. Uh reading the word every day, like getting back into reading, like waking up and giving thanks, that thanks for this day. That is something that is right now something that we all can do, and it's not something that you have to think hard about. So I encourage
Right.
anybody to just get somebody and start doing goals like for this year. It doesn't have to be a full list, because I think we have like 6 things on our list. We have two
Yeah.
right now goals, we have two small goals, two big goals, and then we have something, just add to that list. So
Yeah.
we have to have some type of foundation, a blueprint.
Yeah.
That way,
Yeah.
when we have a day and we feel like, oh, I don't want to do nothing today, look at that list and see what you can take off that list.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And I love that what you said, an attitude of gratitude. Like when you wake up in the morning and you just thank God that you actually woke up that morning,
Yes. Hmm.
when you know in this world there's somebody that did not wake up that morning, just that right there will start you off on the day where you would jump up out of bed and you'll just be excited, just to be up, just to see what you can get into and during the day, and because I always I remind myself of some of the hard times that I come through in life. And when I wake up in the morning, I look around, I'm like, it ain't like it used to be. So
Hmm.
I'm doing good.
Hmm. Like,
I
thank you,
remember
God, for
those
deliverance.
times.
Thank you for God. Thank you, God, for getting me
Yes.
away from this man that used to just be all in my, like, you just be thankful for the small stuff. It's like, thank you for peace of mind. Thank you for grace. Thank you for mercy. Thank you for
Lord.
like joy. It's just those are the things
Yes.
that I
Just
say when I
joy.
wake up every morning. I thank God for all
Mm-hmm.
of those things that I mentioned. So we have to have that attitude of gratitude. And that's something that we all
Mm-hmm.
can do. It doesn't cost anything but your time.
Yes.
And guess what?
Yes.
The person who's giving you that time anyway deserves your time. So it doesn't cost you
Mm-hmm.
anything to be thankful and thank God for, you know, breathing the breath of life back into you for another day.
Yes, Lord. I got a good night's sleep last night. I wasn't up all night worrying about where this man is at.
Huh.
You delivered me from that, God. You gave
Listen,
me rest back.
look, I was able to sleep last night. My husband snoring didn't get on my nerves. So,
And that too.
God,
Thank you, Jesus.
right. Thank you. Yeah, so we have to, and you have to find humor. You have to be able to laugh out
Hmm.
loud. Like laughter,
Yes.
man, listen, I'm so goofy. I just sometimes do silly stuff and I find myself laughing at myself. And I'm okay with
Ain't
that.
nothing funnier. Right. It ain't nothing funnier than real life. You
Yes.
gotta laugh at real life stuff.
Sometimes you gotta laugh to keep them crying. So yes, make sure
Hmm.
that you incorporate laughter into your life every day. Gratitude and laughter,
Yeah.
and spending some time with yourself. Like take that walk, go outside, get some
Yeah.
fresh air. Because I was feeling so bad
Yeah.
last week because I hadn't been outside my house in like 2 weeks. And I went outside for
Ooh.
about 5 minutes, got the sun hitting on my face, and I posted my first picture on Instagram for the year because I post all the time. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dang, I didn't even post no picture for my birthday because my birthday was New Year's Day. And I'm like, I didn't even post a picture for my birthday. So I posted a picture, and everybody kept saying, "Oh, you look like you feel better." I felt better. Like I being outside getting that vitamin D, that actually helped me
Exactly.
to feel better. So get
Yes.
outside and move around and stay active. Like try to keep your heart
Hmm.
rate up, you know?
Exactly. I found that when I was going through my depressive state where I wasn't really doing anything, I was just being, lethargic and laying around, I felt worse.
Yeah.
So when I was able to start back moving around, doing some exercise, it made me feel better and it pushed me out of that depressive state. So yeah, moving around and getting exercise is definitely a good way to keep that that depression and that anxiety, at bay.
Right.
And happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't get a chance to celebrate, but hey, I'm gonna celebrate all year. Chapter 44,
Exactly.
all year.
All year. That's
Yes,
it.
well, we have had a great discussion. And on a personal note, what would you say to your younger self about pursuing your purpose? Not during a pandemic, but just pursuing your purpose in general.
Yeah. So what I would say to my younger self is figure out, who you are, what makes you feel, in tune with your true self, because um, other people would tell you who you should be to benefit them. But what about what you really want? And I remember as a young girl, when people would ask me about myself, I would always describe myself in reference to what I do for others or who I am to somebody else. I never had a description to tell people who Erica was as a
Mm,
person without, describing her according to what other people
mm-hmm.
said about her. So I would tell my younger self, be in tune and find out who you are, and then you can promote how the world treats you according to from the inside out and not from the outside in.
Wow, love that. I love that. So I'll go ahead and get your closing remarks. What would you like to tell the listeners who are listening in and the ones who are about to listen in for the first time to Kicking It with KeKe about pursuing your purpose during a pandemic? With this is the topic that we've been talking about. What would be your closing remarks when it comes to pursuing your purpose within the pandemic to our listeners?
Pursuing your purpose within the pandemic, just work with what you have at the moment. Believe in yourself. Whatever fears that you have, examine those fears and do what you can do to counteract and prove. Sometimes you just got to do it afraid. Even when you're scared, do it afraid, and you'll find out that the fear was probably unfounded in the first place. And then, in this time where you have a lot of time to actually sit with yourself, figure out, get a closer relationship with God and actually listen, because
Mhm.
He will tell you what He's purposed you for. He will show you the gifts that He's giving you and the ways that you can use those gifts. Because so many times we grew up thinking that you had to separate your purpose from, your stream of income. Those two don't go together. You
Right.
can actually take your purpose and make it a stream of income.
Hmm.
If you become really good at that thing and you're better at that thing than anybody else, people will want to pay you for that gift.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So go
Well,
hone into it.
right. Well, Erica, thank you for kicking it with KeKe today. It has been a pleasure having you on as my guest. I wish you nothing but the best, and I will be seeing you soon. Listeners,
Yes.
thank you for listening to Kicking It with KeKe. Love, life, and all that other shit. Or life, love, and all that other shit. Sometimes I get it confused, but hey, it is what it is. If you're watching on
I love
YouTube,
it.
you see all of the behind the scenes. If you're listening in, you're probably not getting it because I edited it out. So go on over to YouTube, Kicking It with KeKe channel, and that way you can watch me and Erica, in person doing the interview. Until next time, make sure that you be inspired, be intentional, and strive to be the best you that you can be. And as Coach Erica said, make sure that you do it afraid. Anything you want to add before we out of here, girl?
Bye, y'all. It was great.
Right.
Thank you so much, Kiki. And I'll see you
Yes,
again. I'll see you over on the Dope Discussions.
absolutely. Bye.